Hi, ladies, and welcome to this interview with Ellie Trudeau. I hope that you're going to enjoy what she has to share with you today. Ellie, do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself and tell the girls a little bit about what it is that you do?
Hi, my name is Ellie, and I recently graduated from college about a year ago. And so I work at Hanover Insurance Group, and I'm an underwriting technician, and I work in the Downstate NY office in the middle market commercial segment. So basically what that means is we sell insurance to businesses as opposed to home and auto or life and health. So as an underwriting technician, I help the underwriters in my office assist them with workflow. So anything from different documentation they might need to assessing risk on our different accounts and evaluating new submissions. So that's basically a brief way of saying what I do.
And so I know a lot of us are familiar with home insurance, auto insurance, and even health insurance, but maybe don't really think about that businesses need insurance. So why do businesses need insurance?
So businesses need insurance almost more than we do because they face all sorts of risk, whether they're a business that might be located on the coast. So maybe we would write, a condo association, and they might have exposure to hurricanes or tornadoes, whatever you could think of, earthquake in California. They also have things like they can be sued for all sorts of things, whether a product that they sell malfunctions or someone slips and falls in their office, or an employee happens to hurt themselves on the job. They face all sorts of risks, so they need insurance across many different lines, as we say: auto, workers' comp, general liability, and property.
Oh, wow. Those are things that I hadn't even really thought about with businesses. That's it's really very interesting. So did you go to school to be an insurance agent, or what kind of led you to want to work for a company doing insurance?
So it's funny, it's like everyone you meet in insurance, they didn't say, since I was 10, I wanted to be working at an insurance company. I certainly never thought that. I actually went to school. I thought I was going to teach art to high school and college students, but it just didn't end up being for me. And over the summers, I would work at an insurance agency. That's always been what my dad did. So it was there that I would see, other women working there that had cultivated really successful careers in insurance. And that kind of opened my eyes. Like, I never was someone that people said, oh, like, you should go into sales or you should go into business. That's just not how my personality is. Like, no one would have said that to me. And, if you're like me, like, I always struggled with math in high school so much. I never thought I would go into anything to do with business. But it was just working at that agency and seeing, other women really successful in the industry. And, I just developed an interest in it. And here I am. It's been fine, even though I'm not that great at math or didn't go to business school. So.
Well, one, it's really cool to know that you can have this career and that you didn't have to be, good in math or good at business, and you can still be successful. I think that a lot of times certain careers, it's almost like a misnomer where, if you're not good in these particular subjects, then you won't be any good at it. And that isn't the case. It's do you understand the need and how to fulfill that need or to solve that problem? So that's a really good point to make within that career. And then two, the fact that there are lots of careers that are out there where you can be successful and make money from that you don't know about yet and you hadn't even ever thought about. So I think it's really, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to talk to you as well, is because of that fact, that insurance is a really great industry to go into that a lot of people don't think about.
I agree. It's kind of like a hidden gem.
Yeah.
And there are an awful lot of young women in it. So, that's what I would say to anyone listening, is that it's like, really, if you're a younger woman, it's a great field to enter because you will stand out. And, there aren't a lot of young girls in it.
And there's lots of different kinds of insurance to sell as well. Cause like you talked about, like there's home and auto, there's business, but then there's even, within like that business, there's different areas that you can go in and specialize in. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely. You can specialize in all sorts of things. You also can work on the agency side or the commercial side. So, I'm sorry, or the company side. So like I work on the company side, meaning I work with agents who then sell the insurance. So I'm working with insurance agents that are then working with businesses. So if you worked at an agency, you would be dealing more with the actual customer, whether it's, the business or the person, whatever it may be. So I'm working with insurance agents. So it kind of depends too, like, what kind of interaction you'd like to have with the people you're working with.
Oh, that's great. That's another little piece that I didn't really realize about with industry. Oh, sorry, with insurance. So what all do you have to do? I'm like, do you have to get certain trainings and certain certifications in order to become an insurance agent?
Yeah. So my job in particular is entry level. Anyone, with a 4-year college degree could do it. But there's a few things so self-studying, we call it, is popular in insurance. You can self-study. There's this online platform called the Institutes, and they basically have, long lists of designations or certificates that you can pursue in insurance, and it kind of helps to qualify you to, sell insurance and advise others on what insurance they might need. So like right now I'm working towards one called Associate in Commercial Underwriting. And it's basically a series of you self-study with a textbook, you go and take an exam, and you can work towards these different designations or certificates. And a lot of times that's not required, but it might really help you. Some companies do require it. I was really fortunate because I got to get started on that before I was even interviewed for this job. So to anyone who's looking to go into the field, that's something that could really help you stand out. And then, insurance, it's not rocket science, but there's a lot to understand and a lot of little things to learn. And that really helped me just gain some knowledge of the field and understand a little bit more how it works.
That's really cool. I mean, so a question that I have related to that is, I know that there are some careers, for instance, like CPAs,
Yeah.
where like laws change. And so they have to constantly be studying and be aware of how things change. Is that the same thing with insurance as well? That there's things that will change. You have to keep studying for that?
Yeah, I would say there is. So I have my license to sell insurance in Massachusetts, and to maintain that, I would have to keep, learning and taking new courses just to keep up kind of like your credits to keep that license.
Mm-hmm.
But aside from that, even things that aren't required, now cyber insurance is really important. That might not have been important even 10-15 years ago, and the way that works changes. Laws and regulations change with all the different lines of insurance. So it is important to kind of keep self-studying, keep learning. I think absolutely.
And you brought up another thing where you just mentioned that you're licensed to sell insurance in the state of Massachusetts, right? And so then that lends itself to then, if you're wanting to, do you have the ability to sell insurance in other states, or no, just that particular state can only be the state that you're living in? How does that part work?
So I did that there because that's where I grew up and took the test. But if I say I live in New York now, if I wanted to sell insurance in New York, there's different states that have reciprocals where it's really easy to say, hey, you have your Mass license, you want to sell in New York, you can get that approved. Other states, like I believe California is one, it's pretty difficult you'd have to get a new license essentially. So it depends. And agents that sell insurance to big companies that have locations everywhere, it's that's something they would be concerned with.
Oh, wow. Very interesting. I was just kind of wondering, with the ability to even do things virtually within the job, so that's what I was thinking about, being able to sell in other states where you wouldn't have to necessarily live in those states. So,
Right.
so you do have the ability to do that. So that's really kind of cool. It makes your job really flexible, I would think too.
Right. Definitely.
So what has maybe been the biggest thing that you have struggled with so far in your career, and how do you handle it?
Um, I think the biggest thing that I realized, and this might have happened to me anywhere, no matter what job I went into, was that once you enter the real world, it's like failure is a real thing. Nobody's perfect. You're going to mess up. And so most of the people I work with, like I'm the youngest one in my office. So the people I sit next to have been underwriting for like 25 years. So it's like, I'm not going to be as great as them. I'm going to make mistakes. I'm going to need to ask them lots of questions. And I'm going to need to accept their constructive criticism at different times. So I'm glad college kind of prepared me for that because, when I feel like when I was younger, that would have been something that was harder to accept. But I'm really used to that now, to be like, hey, I need help. Hey, I don't know how to do this. Hey, I think I messed up here. And, just rely on my peers for support. So that would probably be the biggest thing that I've learned thus far in the real world.
And I think that's really important to share, is the fact that, when you go out into your job, you are going to need to learn things that are specific for that particular company, for that particular position. It's okay to ask questions and to realize that you're going to receive some hopefully constructive criticism, and to be able to take it, because sometimes that constructive criticism can sting a little, but to realize that it's there hopefully to help you grow and get better. So
Right.
the sooner, you can figure out how to do that, because I know that it took me a while.
I know.
It doesn't always feel very good, but it is something that definitely, for sure, that if you have somebody who's giving you constructive criticism, it's not because they don't like you, it's because they actually want to help you succeed. I mean,
Exactly. It's how you grow.
exactly. So then what is maybe the most rewarding or the funnest part of your new career?
I would say I was really excited when I got to this office and I realized, how cool the accounts they work on are. And you would get that in any part of the industry. It's like you get to work with really cool people and really cool businesses. So we work with anything from hotels and restaurants to, software producers to, retail stores, designers, all sorts of things. And I had so much fun learning about them. And then, protecting them from risk is also important. So it's great when we work as a team, our office does, to pull together a deal on a business that I'm excited about and I'm excited to learn about. And, you're doing something that is really important for that business. So I've been happy with all the people that I've gotten to meet and all the things I've gotten to learn. That's the part that's been the most rewarding for me since I started the job.
That is, I mean, when you think about it, insurance is a place where, like you were saying, all businesses need it. And then
Mhm.
really getting them the opportunity to learn about all sorts of different businesses, and how they work and what their risks are. I mean, I definitely think that would be that would be really cool to learn all of that stuff. So,
Yeah,
yeah. So, see, lots of really cool things in the insurance industry.
it's not so boring.
Not so boring. um, so when I know that you mentioned that your dad does insurance as well. So when you first were deciding to follow that path of going into insurance and versus now, has there been is there anything that's different than you thought it would be?
Yeah, I think, first of all, I never thought I would get a job in New York. I think I thought that was really just like intimidating and I could never see that, especially because I didn't come from business school. I pictured everyone that moved to New York, did. And so I was not only surprised to get this job, but then I was kind of thought the whole world of, not only insurance, but moving to this new place. I just thought it would be intimidating and fast paced and nobody would be there to hold my hand. But I was surprised just how nice everyone at my office was. They're supportive. They want you to succeed. They're there to help you. So I think, when I first made that decision, I kind of was like, I don't even know if I'm going to get hired. Like I don't even have a background in this industry. I didn't go to business school. And then it was like, I almost was surprised to get this job. And then, I just have felt so much better after a year at my job with such supportive people around me. So that's one thing I'm really grateful for.
That's really awesome too, to find a job. And that's one thing to look for when you are interviewing, ladies, is to see what is the culture of the companies that you're interviewing with.
Yeah.
And even the colleges. I mean, like when you're going out and getting it, you're speaking to people about colleges that you want to go to, really finding out what is the culture like there, to see if you're going to fit in and if you're going to like it. It definitely needs to be a good fit. So that's a really great point. So thank you for that. So ladies, be sure to scroll below the video. There is going to be a written portion of Ellie's interview. And then right below that is the comment section where you can ask her questions and leave comments for her. And she'll be sure to pop back in and answer any questions that you have. So thanks so much, ladies. Thank you, Ellie, so much for your time today. You guys have a great day. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.